It's night 9 in the game, and Jaya recently arrived to rival redemption camp after getting voted out. She doesn't want her journey to end here, but she doesn't have much faith that she'll be kept around by Adriana. If she ends up going home, she hopes Liana, Eric, and BJ make it far since those are her people. At Hoopai, the tribe scrambles immediately to look for the re-hidden immunity idol, and after just a few minutes, Adriana finds the re-hidden idol in front of Liana and Ivy. She stuffs it in her pocket and smiles at them. Liana and Adriana awkwardly laugh, and Adriana asks if they are going to tell everyone else she has the idol, and Liana shrugs and tells her it depends if she trusts her or not. Adriana says it doesn't matter because she plans to tell everyone she has it anyway. Adriana talks with Tanner and tells him she has the re-hidden idol. Tanner is amazed that she found it again and asks her where she found it. She claims it was near some plants and she picked it up right in front of Liana and Ivy. Tanner says it's clear her idol will be public since Liana will definitely tell Eric and Sarah about it. Adriana says she's just really paranoid because Ivy stayed extremely quiet when she found the idol, as if she doesn't trust her with it. Tanner says that Ivy isn't swaying from their alliance and that they are gonna remain strong as 4 Hoopai members. Adriana doesn't feel safe, especially because she just had to idle someone out. Eric talks with Sarah and Caden about how it's obvious old Hoo is now on the bottom. Caden apologizes for lying to them earlier today that he was going to vote Tanner. However, he also doesn't feel that bad since they lied to him, claiming Tanner was the vote when in reality it was Adriana. Eric says it was mostly a test since he didn't know if he could trust him. They are rivals after all. Caden says he doesn't feel like they will work well together because they clearly cannot trust each other. Eric says his door is open for an alliance since he doesn't have much else now that Jaya is gone. Sarah adds that she mainly doesn't trust Adriana because she is a straight shooter who will leak game information to many people. Liana and Ivy have a chat about Adriana's idol find. Liana says she's nervous for her own safety because it'll be very easy for Adriana to tell people to vote her out. Ivy says she's not going to let that happen. She says she wants to go far with her, so she'll try to keep the target onto Eric since he's supposed to be the next on the chopping block anyway. Liana thanks her and admits she's going to fill in Eric and Sarah about Adriana's idol. Ivy then talks with Tanner and tells him that Adriana has the re-hidden idol, in which he says she already told him. Ivy doesn't know how she really feels about Adriana because on one hand, she's a shield, but on the other hand, she can be unpredictable with her idol. Tanner doesn't see her as a problem for them and thinks they should keep her in their alliance. Liana talks to Sarah and Eric and lets them know Adriana found the re-hidden idol. Eric is bummed because that was their only chance at safety. Now that they do not have the idol, they are extremely vulnerable. Sarah says that at this point, Caden might be the only person they can flip onto their side. They all hug each other and wish for the best moving forward. At Hoo, Allison and Jared continue to bond on a personal level. Allison eventually feels comfortable enough to warn him that he's becoming a target for the 4 original Hoo members. Jared sighs and says he expected it, especially because Romero is part of those 4. Allison tells him she obviously doesn't want him to go home, so she'll make sure Anna and Boo Boo remain strong with them. Meanwhile, Karen talks to Anna about this Jared plan that has been circulating around camp lately. Anna says that it's very difficult to work with Jared, so it makes sense if they need to vote him out. On the other hand, she needs to make sure the 2 of them aren't on the bottom if they choose to vote Jared out. Karen says she doesn't plan to stay loyal to BJ, Mark, or Romero after voting Jared out. Therefore, she would be working with her, Boo Boo, and Allison. Anna says it sounds like a good plan, but she also doesn't know how trustworthy Allison is. Romero and Mark talk about who they trust and who they distrust. Mark instantly adds Karen to their trust list since she has nothing against them. Romero says that BJ might be loyal to them, though he's also the type to look out for himself and his own friends, that being Liana, Jaya, and Eric. Mark adds he's worried that BJ will reunite with them in the merge, making them the power players. Mark then continues down the list of players. He says Boo Boo and Anna seem chill with them. That leaves Jared and Allison, who are question marks. Romero says Jared will always be a question mark for him. In fact, he wants to vote him out soon because he doesn't want to be around him anymore. Mark says Jared is 100% an option if they lose immunity since he's a weak tribe mate in general. Day 10. It's time for the reward challenge. Both tribes meet up at the mats and Hoo find out that Jaya was last voted off from Hoopai. They are somewhat stunned, though. They did expect a rivalry to go after each other on that tribe. Justin then lets everyone know that Adriana has to make a decision now. Justin calls in Jaya, and she walks in. She faces everyone else and Justin asks Adriana what her decision is for Jaya's fate in the game. She can either eliminate her or keep her on rival redemption. Adriana takes a moment to think and then explains that she recently hasn't felt super confident about her own gameplay. Therefore, in the case she's voted out next, she would rather end up at rival redemption camp to have a second shot at the game. Adriana decides to keep Jaya in the game, saying it's mainly for her own safety. Jaya smiles and Liana and Eric both show excitement for her. Justin congratulates Jaya and tells her to head back to her camp, so she waves goodbye to everyone and leaves. Tanner and Caden both look disappointed in Adriana's decision and remain quiet. Justin then begins explaining the reward challenge. In this, players will get to be part of the Survivor photo shoot. In each round, both tribes must recruit 1 to 2 members to pose for a photo of themselves. The goal is to have the best photo. Each round, the backdrop will change, so tribes must be strategic with who they pick for each round. The tribe that scores 3 points first will win reward. The reward is an advantage at the next immunity challenge. Not only that, but the winning tribe will be allowed to send 2 of their members to spy on the other tribe until the next immunity challenge. This will give them more information about what's going on with the opposing tribe. Justin asks Hoo to sit 1 member out, so they go with BJ. It's now time for round 1, and the backdrop is a black color. Hoo picks Anna and Hoopai picks Eric. Anna heads up first and takes her photo. Eric then goes next and takes his photo. Due to how awkward he was in his photo, Anna got the first point for Hoo. The next round's backdrop is a brick wall. Hoo picks Jared and Hoopai picks Liana. Jared takes his photo first, crossing his arms. Liana goes next and uses the same pose as Anna, but due to the unlucky flash, Jared got the point for Hoo. In round 3, the backdrop is gray. This round will be 2 on 2, so for Hoo, Romero and Mark are chosen, and for Hoopai, Tanner and Adriana are chosen. Romero and Mark go first and decide to pose like models. Tanner and Adriana go next and go for more of a brother and sister pose, but due to the unlucky flash once again, the point goes to Romero and Mark, meaning with 3 points, Hoo wins reward. They will get an advantage in tomorrow's immunity challenge. Justin asks them to also send 2 people to stay at Hoopai until tomorrow's challenge, so they all huddle up and discuss. They end up agreeing to send Anna and Boo Boo. They both head over to Hoopai's mat and Justin lets the tribes know they can head back to camp. Back at Hoo, Allison talks to Romero to see where his head is at since they haven't spoke much game lately. Romero tells her he's definitely weary of Jared because they haven't talked to each other yet. Allison asks him if Jared is the target for him, but Romero says he's keeping an open mind in the case his alliance has other ideas. Jared talks to Karen later in the day and asks her who she thinks deserves to go home next, but Karen tells him she doesn't think anyone necessarily deserves to go home. Jared says he personally thinks Romero deserves to go home, so Karen asks if it's just because they are rivals. Jared says it's just the fact that Romero is a snaky person in the real world, so that transfers into the game as well. Karen doesn't say much in response, but Jared lets her know he's going to be voting for him if the tribe loses the next immunity challenge. At Hoopai, Anna and Boo Boo quickly chat alone before they start conversations with Hoopai. Anna tells him they need to keep quiet about their positions when they talk to Eric, Sarah, and Liana. Boo Boo agrees, and so they split up. Boo Boo chats with Tanner to see what's going on with Hoopai, and Tanner says that him, Ivy, Adriana, and Caden are the majority right now. However, he worries that Adriana is going to tank the alliance because she's already doing weird things like keep Jaya in the game after single-handedly being the reason she got voted out in the first place. Boo Boo calls her weird and says he never really trusted her fully. Tanner says the smarter thing would be to get rid of an ex-Hoo member, but things could change if Adriana goes rogue. In addition, Tanner adds that she found the re-hidden idol after using it on herself during Jaya's elimination. Boo Boo sighs and says they'll have to work around that then. Anna talks with Liana and Ivy and asks how they feel right now on their tribe, and Liana straight up says that it is looking like Eric is going home next on their tribe. Ivy agrees and says it's been a hot topic lately since it makes things easier for Caden. Liana asks Anna how Hoo is doing, and she simply says they all seem like a happy family. Of course, that could change as soon as they lose immunity, but with them winning an advantage for tomorrow's challenge, they might continue feeling comfortable together. Ivy smirks and calls her and her tribe overconfident, and Anna wishes them good luck in response. They all laugh about it. Sarah and Adriana chat in the meantime, and Adriana asks her if she has heard her name lurking lately, and Sarah says the only time she heard her name was before last tribal. That's when she warned her that she would get votes, and it was correct. Adriana apologizes for not thanking her sooner for that information, but she truly feels better about their relationship now. Liana then joins the two of them and asks what they are talking about. Adriana tells her she just wanted to know if her name is circling around as a target again, but Liana says she hasn't been a part of many game chats this morning. Adriana says her main worry was that she would get blindsided, so in the case that happens, she can at least go to Rival Redemption for a second chance at the game. That's why she ultimately kept Jaya this morning. Liana says everyone understands her move, especially after seeing someone like Emma get fully eliminated for her decision to eliminate her rival. Tanner talks to Caden and asks him if Eric is still the move he wants to make next tribal, and Caden confirms he doesn't mind. He admits Eric has been trying to work with him, but he's not budging because he knows it's due to him being on the outs. Tanner says the only three people who make him nervous right now are Eric, Liana, and Adriana. He doesn't know if Adriana will try to idle one of ex-Hoopai out since she's seemingly paranoid. Caden says it's likely because she received votes last tribal. Tanner says him and Ivy had growing concerns about her and even thought about voting her out, but Caden doesn't see how that would benefit their alliance moving forward. It's too soon to make these cuts in their alliance. It's now day 11, and it's time for the immunity challenge. Anna and Boo Boo return to their tribe mat, and Justin begins explaining the challenge rules. In this, everyone will compete in a trivia challenge where they will be tested on their knowledge of Hawaii. Each round, a question will be asked, and everyone must attempt to answer it correctly. If correct, they remain in the game. If incorrect, they get out. The last tribe standing with members still competing will win immunity, keeping their tribe safe from tribal council. Justin asks Hoo to sit someone out, and they agree to sit out Allison. He then reveals that their challenge advantage is that they can sit one person from Hoopai, giving them one less member to compete in the challenge. They huddle up and agree on who they want to sit out. They announce they choose Adriana, so she will be sitting out for Hoopai. The challenge begins with question 1. Ivy and BJ are the only two to get the question wrong, so they head for their mats. This means both tribes lost one member each. In round 2, Tanner, Liana, and Caden are out for Hoopai, and then Mark, Jared, and Karen are all out for Hoo. Hoopai is down to 2, and Hoo is down to 3. In round 3, Boo Boo and Romero get out for Hoo, while Eric gets out for Hoopai. This leaves Anna and Sarah fighting for their tribes. In the 4th round, both of them get the question right, meaning they move on to round 5. In the 5th round, Anna gets eliminated, meaning Sarah wins tribal immunity for Hoopai. As a result, Hoo will head to Tribal Council tonight, where someone will be the 6th person voted out of Survivor Rivals. They all head back to camp. At Hoo camp, Karen and Anna touch base on what they will do tonight, and Anna claims it's between Jared and Romero. Karen says she personally feels like Romero can be trouble for them moving forward, but she also feels like Jared is useless for them. Anna thinks they could possibly vote out Jared and then gain favor with Romero. Karen doesn't feel like that will do much because he already has trust in Mark and BJ, so there's no reason for him to change. Plus, they would need to trust Allison if they plan to have 4 strong numbers after voting out Jared. Allison later joins the two of them and asks if they are voting for Romero tonight, but Anna says the vote might lean more towards Jared right now. Karen still doesn't see much upside in keeping Romero over Jared. If anything, their best move technically would be eliminating BJ. Allison says she refuses to vote Jared because she finds that move dumb, but Anna continues to say that they might be stronger if they work with Romero and Mark. Mark talks to Boo Boo and asks him if Jared is the common vote right now, and Boo Boo says he is. It's the simple vote for everyone since he's too unpredictable and weak. Mark gives him a thumbs up and says he'll fill in other people regarding this plan. Jared then stumbles into them and asks how they both feel for tonight. Boo Boo says he personally feels okay. Mark says he's a bit nervous as per usual, but he feels like the tribe will make a smart decision tonight and keep the tribe strong. Jared laughs and says that leaves him vulnerable if everyone thinks about challenge strength, so he understands if that's the route people take. Jared claims he's voting Romero tonight because it wouldn't make sense for him to vote someone else. Allison chats with Romero to see if there's a chance he would be willing to vote for BJ tonight, but Romero shakes his head. He says he needs Jared out for his own sanity. He doesn't want Jared to get in the way of his game. Allison sighs and says she's not looking forward to tonight. Allison and Romero then split off and Romero says hello to Bertha the chicken. Mark later talks with Anna and Karen and tells them the vote is still Jared as planned. Anna nods and Karen says that's essentially the majority decision right now. Karen then asks Mark if he feels comfortable with BJ, but Mark says he actually doesn't because he can tell how badly BJ wants to reunite with the people on the other tribe. Anna calls him a wild card and he's someone they should watch out for, especially because he's definitely targeting her. Mark says he wouldn't be opposed to taking BJ out tonight if they wanted to go through with a blindside on him, but it would require everyone to be on board, including Romero. Romero and BJ chat before Tribal Council, and Romero confirms with him the vote is Jared. BJ says that's fine but also mentions he's worried people are lying about their votes. He feels like Anna, Boo Boo, and Allison will try to keep Jared, meaning they might be looking at a tied vote tonight. Romero doesn't think so because nobody trusts Jared. Nobody would want to go to Rocks for him. BJ shrugs and says they'll have to see then. Night 11. Hoo arrives to Tribal Council and all 8 take a seat. Justin starts the discussion by asking Mark how the vibe is in this new Hoo tribe. Mark says everyone has gotten along well. There hasn't been much drama despite there being 2 united rival pairs. Justin turns to Anna and asks her how she feels reuniting with BJ, and she says they haven't talked much, which is probably why things have been chill around camp. BJ smirks and says he would be lying if he said he is thrilled to have her around. Justin asks Romero if he feels any positive vibes with Jared. He says him and Jared also never spoke, meaning they haven't had a reason to argue with each other. Jared speaks up and says he feels a lot more comfortable without needing to talk to Romero. It's easier than he previously thought. Romero says he feels the same way. Justin then asks Allison if tonight's vote is X tribe against X tribe, but Allison says things have become more merged lately. Due to how much time everyone has had together, lines aren't as clear anymore. People are starting to talk game with opposing members. Justin asks Karen if this is true, and she says it indeed is. For instance, she feels great about Anna despite them never meeting each other before the swap. It's funny how quickly things can occur. With that, Justin wraps up the discussion and says it's time to vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote, Jared. Jared. That's 2 votes, Jared. BJ. 2 votes, Jared. 1 vote, BJ. Romero. Romero. 2 votes, Jared. 2 votes, Romero. 1 vote, BJ. Jared. That's 3 votes, Jared. 2 votes, Romero. 1 vote, BJ. Sixth person voted out of Survivor Rivals, Jared.
Karen and Mark both look around, wondering who switched their votes off of Jared. Jared remains in his seat and shames Boo Boo for betraying him. Romero, on the other hand, keeps a large smile on his face. Jared gets up and grabs his torch, placing it down next to Justin. He watches Justin snuff it, so Jared then heads out. Mark openly asks if anyone wants to admit to voting Romero and BJ. Allison leans on her arm but doesn't speak up, and BJ looks down the entire time. Nobody speaks up. With that, Justin lets the tribe know they can head back to camp, so they do. Jared walks up to a sign, finding out he will be heading to Rival Redemption. He will find out what happens to his game tomorrow morning before the next challenge, where Romero will decide to either keep him or eliminate him. Jared starts making his way to Rival Redemption camp. Next time on Survivor Rivals, with 2 members switching their votes to Romero and BJ at the last tribal council, people begin to suspect Allison and BJ because of their shifty interactions lately. On Hoopai, Adriana tries to do some damage control with her allies so they continue to trust her. With Jared voted out of the game, find out what Romero decides to do. Will he keep his neighbor around, or destroy his game for good? Find out next episode on Sunday. Jared arrives to Rival Redemption Camp and meets Jaya. They've never met before, so they briefly introduce each other. Jaya then asks Jared what happened, and Jared says his whole team betrayed him and voted him out. He knows it's because of challenge strength, but he's a bit petty that Boo Boo also voted for him since they were good friends. Jaya is stunned that Hoo and Hoopai are working together on that tribe since there is a clear divide on the tribe she was voted out of. They continued talking throughout the night.